Hey there, this is Liam from Running Remote, and in today's video we're talking about remote work productivity, one of my absolute favorite things to talk about. Seriously, why do you actually think I have this YouTube channel? Speaking of, are you actually subscribed to this YouTube channel? What about our email newsletter? Links below for more ways to get more Running Remote to you absolutely the fastest way possible. Now, as some of you may know, I'm not just the Running Remote guy, though I do love all the amazing events and all of the hosting and conversations that we do at Running Remote. I'm also the co-founder of Time Doctor, which is a time tracking tool for remote teams. There are a lot, and I mean a lot, of videos out there that are going to tell you how to be productive, or even if you can be productive while working remotely. What I have to share with you today are some crazy, awesome stats on remote work productivity, hot off the presses from Time Doctor's newest report. And this is not just theory or concept, this is quite literally hundreds of thousands of daily active users and where they're spending their time when they work remotely. So there are so many reports today on remote work that are going to tell you everything you already know at Time Doctor. And for this video, I felt it was incredibly important to zero in on the state of productivity, particularly how productive remote workers are by analyzing time spent on social media, unproductive apps, productive apps, and the workplace apps that they use to be able to get their jobs done. This is all aggregated and extrapolated data from hundreds of thousands of Time Doctor users that include 100+ seat organizations as well. And we pulled data from September 1st through to October 31st, 2020, and focused on social media, top apps used, and the most productive countries in the world. The first finding, when it comes to social media, employees are pretty much only on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. This is not surprising when you take into consideration that LinkedIn is a professional and business-focused media network. YouTube is viewed almost like an ever-growing video library used to learn as much as to entertain. And of course, Facebook is the industry giant. That said, employees are not spending as much time on social media as you might think they are. When it came to Facebook, from Tuesdays to Thursdays, employees were spending 7.5% of their workday with Facebook open in a browser. Close to half of the amount of the day spent on weekends. There's a ton more detailed numbers on social media usage that I encourage you to read through in the full report. This is a very interesting insight that you really have to take into consideration, because the average amount of time that's spent on social media really is about 7.5% of someone's workday. So when you're saying, hey, you should spend less time on Facebook, it's actually in a lot of cases less productive to not basically give people access to social media. And to a certain degree, social media actually boosts people's productivity, which is quite counterintuitive, but definitely an interesting insight if you're looking to analyze this type of data long term. Next up, top apps and websites. Would you believe that Time Doctor users spend 40% of their time on Google Chrome? Chrome has by far become the dominant app that most people interact with while they're working remotely, mainly because you need access on Chrome to access all of those Google apps. Seriously, they blew MS Outlook and Office Suite out of the water. And speaking of blowing competitors out of the water, 82% of users used Chrome as their top browser. Time to tackle chat and communications apps. There are so many of them, and they only gained in popularity. Check out my recent video on why Salesforce dropped $28 billion on Slack. Seriously, that's 28 with a B. It's absolutely crazy. So we've got Slack, Microsoft Teams, Zoom, Skype, WhatsApp, Telegram, Messenger, and email. And the list goes on. Which app do you think was the most popular among Time Doctor users? Pause the video right now. I'd love to actually get your suggestions down in the chat below before I give this to you, because I think you're going to be surprised. It was Skype by a landslide. Why? Because it is 100% free. Skype took up 42% of share time, followed by Slack coming in at 24% and Zoom at 20%. Skype has been around forever, but we don't actually know what will happen now that Microsoft is clearly placing many bets on Microsoft Teams. When it comes to work apps, I was shocked to see the results on design apps. 53% of users are still primarily using Photoshop. The real shock was to see that Canva was only used by 0.1% of users. Just goes to show you how large of a market share that unicorn can go after. We crunched so much data and truly could dive even deeper. But the last stat is what I know you all want me to get to. Which countries are the most productive? Well, we compared countries with the highest percentage of employees working at least 40 hours per week with the countries who spent the least amount of time on unproductive apps, and that's self-defined by the users themselves, but we also did a little bit of working ourselves. If an app that we thought was not productive in a particular company, we basically just reoriented that so that it was as equal of a data set as humanly possible. So this led us to discover that the most productive countries are India, Nicaragua, Sri Lanka, and Turkey. The least productive companies are also in the report, but I don't want to have any negativity here, so you can go check out the report if you want to see who was the least productive country across the entire network. So there's a lot of data to go over here. Go check it out down below if you are interested. I thought it was quite interesting, and if you want me to do deeper dives into just sort of the data analytics of remote work, please let me know in the comments below. And while you're down there, you might as well subscribe to this YouTube channel and like this video. It really helps me out, helps out the algorithm. And if you've done all that, I will see you in the next video. Later.